Today we're looking at cards of Connor McDavid and his most expensive cards sold in the first half of 2023. So which cards are going to make the list? Alright, but let's get to this. Let's get rolling. Coming in at number 10 and selling for 27,400 Canadian on PWCC. It's from 2015-16 Fleer Showcase, and it's a McDavid Precious Metal Gems Red. This is graded a BGS 9.5 and numbered 31 of 150. This sold on March 16th with 17 bids. Coming in at number 9 and also selling for 27,400 Canadian on PWCC. It's a McDavid Young Guns, and it's graded a BGS 10 Black Label, with all subgrades receiving a perfect 10. And it actually looks like this is a really clean version too. And I think it's funny that this now iconic card has this lady texting in the background, just like texting a friend. So I would have liked to have known the decision-making process for narrowing down the photos for obvious star cards like this one. But this sold on February 16th with 18 bids. Coming in at number 8 and selling for over 30,000 Canadian on Golden. It's from 2015-16 The Cup, and it's a McDavid Exquisite Collection Rookie Patch Auto. And this one has a nice looking patch. This is graded a PSA 8 and numbered 95 of 97. This sold on February 8th with 31 bids. And a very similar card sold 20 days later for the exact same price. Same grade of PSA 8 and numbered 19 of 97. So if you're gonna spend 30K on one of these, which do you like best? Personally, I like the patch on the left since it has the orange in it and that makes it really pop. But both are pretty sweet looking cards to own. Coming in at number 7 and selling for almost 32,000 Canadian on eBay. It's from 2015 Ultimate Collection, and it's a McDavid Autographed Debut Threads. This is a beauty too, and it's got a really nice looking patch with 3 Oiler colors. Plus it's got a spot specifically for an autograph, which I like. I think it makes it look a little bit cleaner with no other writing underneath it. This is graded a PSA 10 with a 10 auto and numbered 3 out of 10. This sold on August 3rd with 78 bids. Coming in at number 6 and selling for 32,400 Canadian on PWCC. It's from 2015 O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and it's his rookie auto in a Seismic Gold. This is graded a PSA 9, and I think that's a fair grade, as it looks a little bit, unfortunately, a bit off center. Still a beauty of a card, and it's numbered 18 of 25. And this sold on June 22nd with 46 bids. Coming in at number 5 and selling for 34,000 Canadian on PWCC. It's from 2015 The Cup, and it's a McDavid Limited Logos RPA. This is graded a BGS 9 and numbered 19 out of 50. This sold on July 27th with 35 bids. Coming in at number 4 and selling for almost 39,000 Canadian on PWCC. And we have a card not printed in his 2015-16 rookie season. This one is from 2020 The Cup, and it's a black foil auto shield featuring the NHL Shield logo. This was graded as authentic by PSA and numbered 1 of 1. This sold on April 20th with 34 bids. Coming in at number 3 and selling for 36,000 USD or close to 50,000 Canadian on Golden. It's a factory case of 2015-16 The Cup with 6 tins inside. In the last top sales video for cards of the great one, I showcased a sealed box of 1979-80 O-Pee-Chee that sold for more than 250,000 Canadian. Just a crazy amount to pay for a sealed box. However, it was noted that the box was authenticated and sealed with a stamp of approval by BBCE, aka Baseball Card Exchange. Well, one of our many knowledgeable viewers pointed out that a BBCE stamp of approval is not necessarily a guarantee. So I wanted to do a little segue and talk about a story that helps support that statement. It's a bit of a tangent, but stick with it because I think you'll find this interesting. So back in January 2022, there was somewhat of a viral story in the collector space when Logan Paul, stay with me, famous social media influencer, YouTuber, and now WWE superstar, oh yeah, and also who boxed Floyd Mayweather, well, he paid $3.5 million US for a sealed case of first edition Pokemon cards. That's $3.5 million for Pokemon cards. But very quickly, talk on the internet, and in particularly within the Pokemon community, began to emerge that the case might be a fake. It's quite an interesting deep dive, and there's a great summary of the story by someone who goes by the name Pokebeach. But I'll try to summarize the key points. First off, there were a number of red flags that popped up when the community was able to track a recent sale of the case in question on eBay. Some of the red flags were the seller had almost zero feedback. You can see just 15 previous transactions. Another red flag was that shipping was listed at just $50 via Canada Post, as opposed to listing with an auction house or a respected seller, which is more common when dealing with multi-million-dollar sales. Then there were also conflicting stories on how the seller obtained the case. He told one person he purchased it from a woman at an estate sale, and then told another that it was a gift for his 12th birthday. And who gives or gets a sealed case of anything for your 12th birthday? Definitely a weird answer. Next, the auction ends on April 9th with 86 bids, but only sells for $72,500. Seems like a lot, but it's nothing compared to the $3.5 million that Logan Paul paid just 9 months later. However, the eBay deal falls through, and here's a red flag. It's because the seller refused to let the buyer fly out and inspect the case. Definitely a huge red flag. And then there's the outside of the box, and there are a number of red flags that O-Pee-Chee lists about the legitimacy of the sealed case itself. I'll leave a link to the story. There's pictures and things like that if you want to dive a little deeper. Eventually, the seller does find another buyer, and that buyer takes it to BBCE for inspection and authentication. Now, BBCE began inspecting baseball and other sports cases, boxes, and packs way back in 1990, back in the junk wax era. But they were never considered an expert on Pokemon collecting. And O-Pee-Chee calls BBCE's reputation as a Pokemon authenticator as non-existent when it comes to authenticating anything other than individual booster packs. But despite not being known as a Pokemon specialist, BBCE still agrees to look at the case. And BBCE, with their limited experience in the Pokemon space, labeled the case as authentic and covered it in their famous BBCE shrink wrap. Buyer beware. Yep. So remember, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. All right, let's just cut to the video. I've made a few edits to shorten this. It comes from Logan Paul's YouTube channel, but you'll see Paul and some associates. The guy with the shaved head is the one who sold the case to Logan Paul, because after the case was sold on eBay, it was bought and sold a few times. This guy paid $2.7 million and then flipped it to Logan Paul for $3.5. And the two older fellows are from BBCE. The one in the red shirt is Steve Hart. He's the person who writes his name on the majority of high-end BBCE sealed boxes and cases. Oh, and don't you think it's kind of funny that they're about to open a $3.5 million sealed case and there's a can of Sprite on the table? Anyway, they've all met in this hotel room in Chicago and they're gonna open the case because they're worried about what is inside.
The guys from BBCE who authenticated it are here to basically stamp their authentication.
If this is fake, we're all in trouble because it looks so good. There's first edition packs in there, we're golden. The case value of this is gonna double, triple.
It would legitimately be verifiably 100% the only sealed case in the world that is 100% real. You're from BBCE?
Yeah, I'm the owner. Yep.
You're the owner of BBCE,
Yep.
and you authenticated this?
Yes. Me and Michael are going to go over, when it came to my office that day, what I looked for. And then we're going to speak back and forth about why we like the seals. If it's good, it's worth a lot more than the 3.5 now.
In this case, I
hope it's real!
Back in March of this year, this case came into my office. They asked for my opinion if the outside of this case had been tampered with, played with, reproduced in any way. You could see in this piece of seal that was put on there by Wizards of the Coast that this tape is aged onto this case. This label too, the same embedded lines of the cardboard from age are in that label.
There's no evidence of tampering.
One edge would look
in
different.
any way, shape, or form.
I did my diligence just like I do for a sports case.
Oh my
Yes!
god! Oh my god!
Yes!
Oh my god!
Motherfucker!
Wait, hold on. Okay, that's a good sign. What?
Why are they so puffy? Why are they so puffy though? See how they're shaped all?
They don't look right.
They don't look right.
They don't look right? Uh-oh.
See how they're curvy and
They're
puffy.
very light. They don't look right. Okay, let's get it going. Let's open more.
Oh my god.
That shit don't look good.
Oh no. Oh no, why Why is it bending like that? Why is it bending like that? What's inside of him?
Dude.
Motherfucker. It's f***ing fake, bro. It's f***ing fake.
Motherfucker. Look at this bullshit.
Why doesn't this one say first edition on it?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No,
That's
not
your
like
name.
this.
Motherfucker.
Not like this.
Legal.
Oh my god. Oh my
Oh my God.
bro. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe!
We all got duped. Agreed?
Yeah.
I would have never purchased this if it wasn't BBC Wrapped. We only buy it because of that. But because of that, I felt confident it was legit. It was good.
Wow, so instead of first edition Pokemon cards, it's just G.I. Joe cards. So I wonder how many fake cases or boxes are out there right now that are wrapped in BBCE shrink wrap. You gotta figure that this is not the only one. Well, it's just that reminder to do your due diligence. And I guess this was no surprise. This was a statement from BBCE shortly after the fiasco. We are reevaluating our approach to all sealed cases going forward. We've also decided to halt the review of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh cases or boxes until we assess and revise our processes to avoid this from happening in the future. And it also says they've authenticated tens of thousands of sealed card products over the years. Oh, and if you're wondering, Logan Paul did end up getting paid back his $3.5 million. But the rest of the stuff gets a little bit messy, but I'll leave a link to the story if you want to do a little bit of a deep dive. Alright, well thanks for hanging out on this tangent, but now let's get back to the show. And here's a few more shots of the 2015-16 case of the Cup. Seems so crazy to pay that much for a sealed cardboard box. I guess this tattered looking barcode is considered a distinguishing feature in determining whether this came from the Upper Deck factory. And this image here shows that the cardboard box was the kind Upper Deck used during that era? Maybe? It does say on the BBCE sticker, factory sealed, opened / verified by BBCE. And it's dated February 2022, just a month after the Pokemon fiasco, so I assume they made some changes to their authentication process. So maybe now they do look inside. Anyways, I think this story shows that we as collectors need to do our own due diligence and not just rely only on third parties. Because human error can and obviously does happen. This case sold for $36,000 USD on February 8th with 16 bids. And with 6 tins inside, that works out to $6,000 per tin or almost 8,200 Canadian per tin. So if you happen to have $9,000 or so to burn, looks like you can pick up a sealed tin from 2 reputable sellers for around 8,800 Canadian. Coming in at number 2 and selling for 49,500 Canadian on Golden, it's a 2015 McDavid Future Watch Auto. This is graded a PSA 10 and numbered 711 of 999. This sold on July 26th with 26 bids. And if you're keeping score, a very similar Future Watch Auto sold 5 months earlier on PWCC for right around the same price. And this one was also graded a PSA 10 and numbered 558 of 999. This sold on February 16th with 28 bids. And coming in at number 1 and selling for more than the last 2 Future Watch Autos combined, it's from 2015 the Cup, and it's McDavid's Cup RPA. And this also has a cool looking patch. And this sold for a whopping 102,000 USD or close to 140,000 Canadian. This was graded a PSA 9 and numbered 19 of 99. This sold on April 20th with 53 bids. Okay, now time for a few cards that didn't make the list, but I think these are all worth showing. First up, and selling for 21,000 Canadian on Golden, we have another from 2015 Ultimate Collection. This one is an Ultimate Rookies RPA with another nice patch. This is graded a BGS 9.5 and numbered 14 of 15. This sold on February 28th with 24 bids. So remember earlier we showed the PSA 9 Seismic Gold McDavid Auto, numbered 18 of 25, and that sold for 32,400 Canadian. Well, just missing the list was this Black Ice McDavid, which sold for 21,900 Canadian on eBay. This is graded a PSA 10 and numbered 8 out of 50. And this is the first card to show that actually wasn't won in auction, because this sold on August 4th with best offer accepted. Oh, and then we have one more from 2015 O-Pee-Chee Platinum. This one sold a month or so earlier. We have the rainbow purple selling for 15,000 Canadian on eBay. This one was graded a BGS 8.5, but numbered 9 out of 15. I wonder if the buyer has plans to crack this and submit to PSA. Rolling the dice and hoping to get a PSA 9, maybe? Hard to really see from the scan, but from the subgrades you can see they're all 9s or better, but 8 for centering. This definitely off center, but I've seen cards like this that definitely grade a PSA 9. And here are all 3 side by side. Would you consider cracking the 8.5 and submitting to PSA? Whew, what a huge gamble if it is to crack this. Have you had any luck doing this? Comment below if you've actually done this and won. Or if you've lost as well too and want to share that. Whatever slab it's in or raw, it's still a sweet card to own. Okay, and here's our final card. It's from 2015 The Cup, and it's a McDavid RPA, but the difference between this and number 1 from our main list is that this is the gold version, and it's numbered 8 out of 12. So why didn't it make the main list? Well, because the only recent sale I could find was from August of 2018. And so what did it sell for back then? Well, whoever won this auction got a pretty sweet deal because it sold for 39,000 US or around 50,000 Canadian. Basically pennies. But congrats to the winner of this auction because you've got a monster. Let me know if you liked the video and drop a comment which card is your favorite. Anyways, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.
The monster tonight, Mike Commissar, shot blocking monster, physical monster, indestructible monster, has PJ Axis, has Milan Lucic, has Petteri Nokalainen, again has Lucic, and then for good measure on the penalty kill,